This is Tim Turner. We're talking about marketing and marketing with webinars today, and here's our basic agenda, the pick of the day, questions for you, the presentations, any questions that you have, as well as some options and ideas for you. Here's the picture, and that's why I got those messages. Does anybody know who this is? Actually, I didn't mention who it was, so if you know who this is, put it in on the chat box. I was at a broker-dealer conference, and he was speaking on leadership and competition and his basketball career. There's a hint for you. And he's 6'11". I'm 5'11", so I look like a kid next to him. And you guys guessed it. I've got several of you that guessed Bill Walton. That's who it is. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Afterwards, he stayed for pictures and autographs, and the hallway was lined up, probably 50, 80 people deep to get a picture with Bill Walton. So I thought that was kind of cool. But he would talk to you, and if you had anything you want to chit-chat about, he was very gracious about that and talked about playing for John Wooden at UCLA. And it was kind of interesting. Okay, let's proceed. A couple of questions for you to answer. Have you done any seminar marketing? It's not required, but I just want to get a kind of a hands up of how many people have done seminars at all. Could be dinner seminars. It could be public educational seminars at libraries. People do all kinds. So we get a lot of yeses, a no, long time ago, no, but looking at doing some. Okay, so we're kind of all over the map there. My next question, have you done any webinars? So that's what we're on today. We're on a webinar. Getting a lot of no's. All right. So a lot of people have not done those. Let's see. Okay, next question. And I ask this almost every time because I have to drill it into people's brains about their marketing. How much is one new client worth to you in the first year? And this is the number you need to have in mind when you do marketing. And the other question, which I'm not going to ask today, but how much, project out, how much is one new client worth in 5 years, in 10 years? So when you have that number in mind, especially if it's for wealth management, you have ongoing, revenue to your practice. There's a lot of people that spend money to nearly break even in order to get those clients, knowing that over the long haul it's going to produce a very attractive, profitable practice. So getting lots of answers, it's worth $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. So those are some great numbers. All right, so how do we get more of these people? Last week we talked about event marketing. And, I just had one person put in that a new client's worth $20,000. That's cool. Thanks, Gary. Okay, event marketing, Platinum Marketing, a company that was at the conference that I was at last week. They talked about doing event marketing, charity events, social events, small events, and they talked about different ways of doing that, and they facilitate some of those items. And we talked about it last week a little bit. Takes a lot of organization to run charity events, and a lot of social events can be time-consuming. The smaller events they were doing were more like dinners. They would invite people to their house, or they would force them out to play golf, a client and their two friends. But my addition to this is webinars, okay? And now I know some people have done seminars, but webinars are a lot easier to do, a lot more low cost, and they still position you as an expert. So let's talk about that. Why webinars? Okay, you can educate your clients. So it's not just for prospects, it's also for your clients. It positions you as an expert. Okay, when you're on there talking about something, it doesn't matter what it is. When someone's talking in front of an audience and they do a fairly good job, you assume they're an expert at it. You don't have to talk about credentials. Just by the fact that you're running the webinar means you are the expert. It's easy for clients to make referrals. If you do webinars regularly for your clients and tell them they can invite their friends, it's a very non-threatening way to get referrals because you know, they don't have to trudge to your office. You're not, you know, cold calling them. It's just a web link you send out, just like to get on this webinar today. Like I said, it's not very threatening. You're not forcing people to carry your business cards. And there's lots of ways to spread the word about it, which we're going to talk about as well. The other reason why webinars are so great is they're automated and they're fairly constant. And that once you get it working, it can bring a steady flow of leads. People are always asking me, how can I generate leads? If you just do a one-time seminar and then you work on the people that attended and then it's over and then you have to do another one. So a webinar is like that in a way, in that you can do one monthly and you are having to set up and promote, run, then afterwards re-promote the webinar. So you do have that cycle. But at the same time, the thing that's unique about webinars is that you can record them and reuse that in your marketing. And there's even tools out there that will run the webinars for you at set times as if they were live. Or you can put them in YouTube and send out the link. So there's a lot of things. We're going to talk about that as well. But it's something you can go to over and over again. Okay, I have a couple of people raising their hands, but I'm gonna go through a little bit of this real quick, and then we'll take some questions. Let's talk about the how. Okay, so there's some major areas on how to run the webinar. The first one being which software to use. Okay, there's a bunch of them out there. We're using GoToWebinar today. It's one of the first. The one before that was WebEx, was one of the very first ones, and it was very expensive. Then GoToWebinar came out and undercut them. Now there's other companies out there, Join.me, Meeting Burner. There's a number of them popping up as companies have figured out the technology and realize they can get some great, build a great little business running webinars. So you got to figure that out. And then you've got to prepare for your webinar. You've got to know the basics and how to set it up. You've got to promote the webinar. We're going to talk about each one of these things. Of course, you've got to run the webinar. And as we learned today, one of the most important things about running the webinar is to click the Show My Screen button. Otherwise, people can't see your screen. Then you can promote the webinar afterwards. So that's why it's a great event-type marketing. There's a before, during, and after. And it can be ongoing marketing. And then you can integrate it into your marketing. We're going to talk about ways to do that that are very useful. Okay, let's talk about the software. So I'm going to go into each of these areas. There's numerous systems available. We already talked about that. They handle automatic sign-up, or at least most of them do. So there's a couple of different types. One type is you just shoot out an email and say, join me on this link on this day at such and such a time. And you can just send the link out, and whoever gets it can just get on there. The GoToWebinar approach, which is a little more advanced, you can set up a little sign-up form, and that way you know how many people have signed up. You can collect names and addresses, phones, and emails, and you can also use that to send out reminders, so it's a little more advanced. So automatic sign-up is very useful. You want software that makes it easy to run the webinar. I've had a number of people telling me that Join.me and some other ones are easier than GoToWebinar, and it might be true, but I've been using GoToWebinar for more than 10 years. pretty much ever since they've had it, and it's pretty easy to run, except when I make mistakes and not clicking things or not turning on my audio. Easy to take questions from the audience. You want to be able to have some interaction and interactivity. I got on a system, and I can't remember the name. It was not Join Me, but it was something else. And everybody who joined, it beeped. And if people logged off, it beeped. I didn't like that. It was pretty annoying, and they said they couldn't turn it off. But as far as taking questions, anybody could type anything in, and it automatically was shown to everyone on the webinar on a little scrolling list, which I don't like. On GoToWebinar, if you type something in, only the panelists get to see it and can answer it. But in this other system, I mean, somebody could get on there, and who knows what they could start typing. They could be promoting their own business, go to this website, hey, I'm selling something too, and paste a link in there. I just thought it was kind of ridiculous. But having questions and making it interactive. Speaking of which, okay, we've got somebody that has a question. Rick, do you still have a question?
No.
Okay. All right, you had a hand raised. If anyone else has a question, you can raise your hand or enter it into the chat box. So the nice thing about GoToWebinar, you can keep everyone muted and just unmute the people that may have a question. Okay. You can run polls. Let's see, where's my polls? Okay, I have a poll. I didn't mean this. Oh, actually, this is the one we asked before, but let me show you an example of a poll. Let's show how that goes. I'm going to launch it. Okay, the poll is open. So on your end, you should see the poll. It's how much is one new client worth to you? And if you click one of the radio buttons, and it's like a vote, and then we're going to show you percentage-wise what the votes are. All right, we only have 25% that have voted, 31%. It's okay, you know, if you're doing a webinar for consumers, you can ask people, are you already retired or not? And, you know, and then show, okay, you know, 60% of the people on this call are already retired. There's lots of ways you can use it, but it adds some interactivity and gives you more to discuss. So with half the people voting, we have 25% say that a client is worth $2,500, 25% say $5,000, 13% $10,000, 13% $25,000, and 25% $35,000 or more. All right, so that's interesting. So I just want to show you how the poll worked. You can collect prospect contact information. So say someone refers someone and you use the sign-up process, well, you're going to get their contact info in order to be on the webinar. And you can even require the info. So if you want to, you can just do name and email, make the other stuff optional. But if you really want to clamp down and force people to give you their contact info, then you can make all the questions required. Usually for our webinars at Tord, we do first name, last name, email, and we may have a bunch of other stuff that's optional. Okay, let's talk some more about the how, the basics. You got to pick a date, obviously. Pick a topic. You want something to position yourself as an expert. And, you know, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It could just be talking about retirement illustrations in Retirement View. It doesn't have to be a PowerPoint like this one. It could be walking through a sample case in Retirement View, building it, talking about the age and when they're retiring, a couple of issues, and then taking questions. All it's going to do is tease people to want to meet with you and get a Retirement View picture built for them. You can also invite other experts to do webinars with you. Maybe on topics you're not familiar with. Maybe it's someone from your home office. Maybe it's a fellow colleague that's from another city. Maybe it's on topics that have nothing to do with investments or financial. Maybe you do a webinar on, 12 golf tips from a local golf instructor, and you're still marketing yourself. You're still the expert running the webinar. Even if you're not the expert on that topic, you're sort of like the famous guy running the webinar. So positioning yourself that way is really important. Of course, you got to create your presentation or coordinate it with someone that you're bringing on. Or if you've done seminars, a few of you on here said you've done seminars. If you have an approved seminar, there's no reason why you couldn't convert it to a webinar, unless it's you doing a juggling act and playing the piano, and then your dog Muffy comes out and performs a couple of tricks, and then you talk about, investments or something. Obviously, you can't put those things on, but as long as it's more educational and informational, there's no reason why you can't convert your seminar to a webinar. Of course, you may need to get compliance approval for any presentation that you give, but just do it. Get it approved, and then it's something you can reuse over and over. Okay, one of the next aspects, you've already scheduled it, come up with your topic. Maybe you're still working on your presentation, but you got to start promoting it. You've picked a date, you've picked a time. You're going to email your current clients, email your prospects. Maybe you have a whole prospect list of people you've met with that never did anything, or maybe they came to your seminar and they never did anything. Or maybe they were referred to you and you called a couple of times and they never did anything. Maybe you're going to direct mail them. Send out some postcards. Postcards are pretty cheap. They're just low cost, and there's tons of companies that can send them out for you. Neither you nor your assistant even needs to label or address or stamp them. And I can refer you to some places that can do all that. You can just upload your list and pay for it, basically. You can, let's say your webinar is a week or two away, have you and everyone in your office change their email signature to mention the webinar and a link to register for it. And that way you don't have to beat people over the head, but as you're sending out emails on your daily routine, you're advertising your webinar. Put the sign up on your website, announce it on your website, put something on there that makes people aware of it when they visit your website. Okay, here's some other ways to promote it. You can post it on LinkedIn. I've got an advisor that does this regularly. He creates webinars and then posts them on LinkedIn. You can do your replays that way as well. Of course, post it on Facebook, tweet it. More advanced is if you're doing stuff with Google. Like say you have a landing page to sign up and you do pay-per-click to drive traffic there. You can do that with Facebook ads, Google pay-per-click, Google Display Networks. Google Display Network, if you've seen the Ken Fisher I Hate Annuities ads, those are visual ads all over the place, and that's through Google Display Network. So you don't have to get into these more advanced things. I wouldn't start there. I'd start with the other things first, do the things that are very low cost, and just use basic social media. Okay, continuing with how to do it. You got attendance. You got to get people to show up. Okay, even if they sign up, they may not show up. Okay, oftentimes you'll only get about half the people that sign up to show up. That rule is true today on this webinar that I'm giving right now. I think based on the number that is attending, that's about half the people that signed up. So it takes some work to get people to attend. You have to send out reminders by email. GoToWebinar sends out reminders. You can tweak the reminders, but if you do, make sure you undo that. Earlier this week, we tweaked our reminder and then did not undo it, and then yesterday it sent out a notice saying this call was canceled. when it was not. So that was kind of a goof up on our part, but also on the way that GoToWebinar works. So you got to send out reminders. Some people actually call people and remind them. You can also do voicemail blasts that go out, an hour before the webinar. You can also do SMS text messages that go to people's cell phones. Hey, don't forget the webinar starts in a half hour or in 15 minutes. That's getting fancy. You don't have to do all that, but it just increases your attendance if you can. There are some other special secrets that the pros use that I've been learning about. We haven't started using them in Torrid. I don't know if we will. But the intervals that you remind people and how often, a lot of these professional people remind you like 6, 8, 10 different times, and that's how they boost their attendance. Okay, you got to run your webinar, of course. Practice it beforehand. Make sure you know how to use the software. Maybe do a dry run with some friends. Also, when you're running it, make sure you record the webinar. I don't usually make that mistake anymore, but in the early days, I can't tell you how many times I meant to record it and forgot to hit the old record button, and you're halfway through the webinar and it's over, and you forgot to record it. Recording it lets you offer it as a replay. That's part of your marketing. Okay? You're on the webinar, ask questions to keep people engaged. If it's just you droning on like I am kind of now, people start to tune out. So try to keep people involved and ask questions. Use the poll function if your webinar software has one. That poll function that we had keeps it interactive and interesting, gets people involved. I didn't set up another poll for this webinar. I should have. I should have added a couple more polls to get you guys engaged. Okay, after you've done your webinar, so you've had people attend, you ran your webinar, yay, it's over. Now you've got a recording and you need to convert the video to various formats. It's pretty technical and it's fairly annoying, and you've got to work with large files and you need specialized software. But if you do that, you will be rewarded because you can upload your replay video to your website and have people either opt in to view it anytime they want, or you can have automated replays, like every Thursday at 4 you replay a certain webinar for a month. You can upload it to YouTube, of course, Vimeo. There's a number of services that will play your videos. There's even some that you upload and it'll convert your videos as well as play them. Of course, edit your website to add a page for it. Have people opt in to watch the replay. Use the recording in marketing. You can send out the replay links in email. But you can also take that recording and burn it onto a CD that you give out, like the audio onto a CD people listen to in their car, or a DVD, and they actually watch the replay. So there's a lot you can do with that. It's pretty low cost to burn CDs and DVDs once you have it in the right format. So there is a little technical part in there. You can either hire somebody to do it. You can go online. There's services that will do it. I can tell you where to do all that. There's also automated replay systems. I've mentioned this already a couple of times. You can load your recording into the system and then set up the replay to run every week at a certain time, and then you can have people sign up for it on your website. So, you could be on vacation and your webinar is going to rerun, and people might be signing up for it via various promotion that you do, either on your website or maybe, once a month you post something in Facebook, LinkedIn. Maybe you ask your clients to invite their friends or send the link to their friends. Okay, here's a recap of the major areas that we've covered. Got to figure out what software to use, what's good for you. There's a lot of price points, a lot of different features. You got to prepare. Preparation is key. You got to promote. If you don't promote it, you're not going to get anyone on there, and then it's all for nothing. But you got to start somewhere. Start with your friends, your clients, people you know, groups you might belong to. You got to run the webinar, do a good job with that, and make sure it's informative and interesting. Promote the webinar afterwards. That's where you're doing more ongoing marketing and you know, milking that webinar for as much as you can, and integrate it into your marketing so you can further milk it. So if you have email marketing systems or automated email marketing systems, slipping that replay link into there to all your existing clients, and then as they come on board, they are periodically sent a link that they can watch that, again, positions you as an expert. Maybe they send it to their friends. Maybe you post it on a page that says, you know, forward this to a friend. You have social media links on there. Any questions at this point? We've covered a lot. I don't have a whole lot more. For those that want a recurring lead generation and marketing activity that can help boost your practice, this is an area that I think is very underutilized right now in the advisor, agent, financial space. That's just my opinion. I talk to a lot of advisors, and not many of them are doing this, and I think most everyone on this call said they had not done it. All right, the questions I have not answered, so there's a lot that can be covered. Which software is better? You know, which one's better? What's the differences in cost? What are the features? Why would you use one over another? Help me choose which one to use. How to pick a topic. How to position yourself as an expert. How to keep it interesting. When is the best time to have your webinar, depending on the audience you're targeting. How to get the demographic data of the attendees. Okay, I may have that on more than one slide, but there is actually a secret, and I can't tell you what it is right at the moment, but there's a way to get demographic data of everyone that attends. Let's say you have at a webinar and you get, I don't know, 10 clients on there, and they bring 6 of their friends. And so the demographic data may or may not be that interesting about your clients, but getting that info about the prospects. I've actually run a webinar where we figured out how much money in retirement assets each of the person on the webinar has. And you know exactly who has what, and they're pretty honest about it, so it's kind of cool. And there's ways to do that. How to run your webinar effectively, just all the tips and tricks to make sure it runs smoothly and without a hitch. Okay, other things you need to learn that we're not covering today. What types of video formats to use, that's kind of technical. How to convert your video to other formats, because YouTube requires certain formats. Your meeting webinar system may have it in one format, and then YouTube requires another format, and then if you want to post it on your website, believe it or not, you're best off posting it in 6 different formats so that people can watch it on different devices, literally 6 or 7 different formats to cover iPhones, iPads, Android, desktops, Macs, you name it. How to manage the replay, you know, where to post it, how to put it up there, you know, tips on doing that. How to market it, how to market the replay, because you want it to continue to have your clients look at it if they didn't attend. You want them to send their friends there. You'd love for it to go viral, post it in social media so that maybe people that you, other people can look at it. Where and how to produce the CDs or DVDs. So if you decide you want to be able to mail that, Say you have a prospect come in and you want to mail them a package with a letter of introduction, maybe something about yourself, maybe a book that you've written. Hey, throw in a CD, audio CD they can listen to in the car, right? Hey, throw in a DVD of you giving the webinar on, the 12 mistakes people make with retirement. And again, it positions you as an expert. If you don't have a book, this is the next thing you should be doing. You haven't had time to write a book. You want to be an expert. You want to be highly viewed before you meet with someone or with referrals. Then the next best thing is having a CD, an audio CD or a DVD with you introducing yourself and talking about investments, retirement, Social Security, whatever topic you can come up with. Maybe you're going through the retirement view, giving samples. All of those position you as an expert. So, and producing CDs and DVDs these days is cheap, downright cheap. So it's something you should definitely consider. I mentioned this before, getting the demographic data. Would you like to know how much someone has in their investment accounts? How much have they saved for retirement? Whether they're retired or not? Any other questions related to your ideal client? If you ask demographic questions and you have clients on there, it just helps you learn more about them and helps you in your marketing of people like them. So the more you know about your client base, the more you can look for people like them, okay, since they're your ideal clients. And if they bring their friends, prospects, other people, you can learn about those people. And there's a couple of tricks to it, but it's not rocket science, but it's something you can be taught. Okay, I've been teaching people how to do webinars, and one of the first examples is a guy named Bill Schultheis. I don't think Bill's on the call. I should have, I think he was busy. I should have had him on here. But he has a book called Coffee House Investor. He also has a website called Coffee House Investor. He also has a wealth management firm called Soundmark Wealth Management. And Bill used our retirement view, loved it, met with clients about it, and somewhere in there he told me about his website. And I said, how often are you doing webinars? And he's like, webinars, what's that? Well, I don't remember if he said that. It was 5 years ago probably. It's been a while, 4 or 5 years ago. So I said, well, we can do webinars and set it up and talk about the retirement program. Maybe you could, use your email list, get people on there, and you'll talk about Soundmark and what you can do for them, and I'll talk about the software, and if they want to do it themselves, we'll offer them a discount. So that was the approach. There's many approaches that you can use. And now he does webinars regularly. He found that he could really convert prospects out of his email list and out of referrals by doing regular webinars. He also has a lot of clients that attend, and it all positions him as the expert. And he promotes it on his website. He does email marketing. And it reminded me today, I got an email today from him promoting one of his webinars. And he's just kind of taken off with it. He gets a lot of leads from it, and he's growing his assets under management, getting new clients. And that's probably one of the top things that he does. All right, here's example number 2. His name is Steve Sellinger. He's in Keel Island, South Carolina. He's written a book called The Brainwashing of the American Investor. And I've read the book. It's pretty interesting. It talks mainly about how Wall Street is getting people to sell high, buy high and sell low pretty much, and how they can't make money doing that. And just he also manages money. He also trains investors on his system for investing. So he will actually teach people how to invest. So he does training on that. But he didn't do webinars. He would do these trainings and he wasn't really using webinars to sell his services, wasn't doing replays or social media. I showed him how to integrate webinars into everything that he was doing, and now he does them regularly, and he promotes them on social media and gets leads from it pretty much weekly. So those are two cases that I've worked with that have been pretty successful. Okay, so I appreciate you being on the call, and hopefully you've learned something. I don't want this to just be a big pitch, so to speak, but I want you to learn something, and we've covered a bunch of information about webinars, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I can try to answer it. But if you want help, you want to get this going, you recognize the value that webinars could bring to what you're doing, then I'm offering some help. So, would you like help doing all this? All right, we're going to do a 30-day training program. And we might extend it, but I think 30 days is enough to get going and get your first webinar up and running. We're going to teach you not only how to do it, but actually help you along the way, help you figure out which software to use, how to sign up, how to get the sign-up form done, how to create a topic. Now, you're going to have to create the actual webinar yourself, the content, and get that approved. All right, but if you do this and learn how to do this, then you're going to have another marketing arrow in your quiver. And once you do one, then you're going to want to do 2 and 3 and 4. It's a recurring thing. It's not a one-time event. It's a skill. It's a marketing system that you can add to your practice. The more systems you have working together, the more it all builds exponentially. I meant to put up a slide about that, but you need one system that can get you 2 leads a week, another system that gets you 8 leads a week, another system that gets you 4 leads a week. You need 5 systems that each get you 1 lead a week, and so forth. And you run them all continuously, and that's how you get ongoing leads regularly. It's not some one-time deal. All right? The most important thing I think about webinars are it's low cost, but at the same time it's high impact by positioning you as an expert. You send trust through the roof when you are positioned as the expert. I can point to numerous books on it. One of the more recent ones that I've read is called Trust-Based Marketing by Matt Zagula and Dan Kennedy, and he's an advisor that knows everything about building trust with clients to grow a financial practice. All right, if you want to get in on this training, we're going to do weekly group calls and discuss the how. Today we discussed it at a high level, but for each of these topics we're going to dive in, go into detail, and actually you're going to have homework to get it done. And at the end of the time, you're going to be able to do a webinar. Okay, so you're going to actually implement. It's not just something where you sit back and do nothing. Okay, your graduation is going to be to do your first webinar. So I'm guaranteeing that you're going to do a webinar at the end of this. Now, you're going to, if compliance is involved, you're going to have to get that approval, but the goal is we're going to help you get a webinar done for you and your practice. And once you do it once, you're going to know how to do it regularly. And that's the goal, is to add this as a new part of your practice. Okay? I'm going to personally lead this training. I'm not going to assign it to somebody else. I'm going to let you know all the tips and tricks I've learned. You can pick my brain, ask me questions. If it's something I don't know, I certainly will research it. But I've been doing webinars for at least 10 years, a very long time in this day and age. Okay, before I get to the rest of it. This is not going to be for you if you're on your last dollar and you're desperate to save your business. Okay, it's just, nothing is a one-hit wonder, surefire, get 27 leads by next week. And if anybody emails you about that, you should just hit the delete button. This isn't for you if you're already doing monthly webinars. That means you probably already know what you're doing. Like Bill Schultheis and Steve Seliget, they're already off and running. I don't have a whole lot more to teach them. I got them off and running, and they're doing great. Okay, you shouldn't do this if you're getting ready to retire, because this is something you can milk for a long time. You're probably coasting into the beach. This isn't for you if you don't see the value of ongoing marketing systems. Okay, if you don't see the value of that, then I probably can't help you. You're just not the type of person that should get involved. This is something for you if you don't have enough leads and prospects to meet with. If you've been burned with appointment services or lead appointment setting services and whatnot. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard about these things. You're tired of not getting leads on a regular basis. Okay, that's similar to bullet number 1. You realize the value of putting a marketing system in place. Another bullet that's not on here, this is for you if you really want to position yourself as an expert. I mentioned this before. Maybe you don't have a book. If you do have a book, even better. You can do webinars related to your book. But if you don't have a book, all the experts out there in the industry say, that's one of the ways to position yourself as an expert. Well, if you don't have one, here's the next best thing. Do webinars and make yourself up on the pedestal. Make yourself the webinar expert. Even if you bring in other experts, you're still going to be positioned as the expert. You're on there with them. Okay? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have the training package. I'm going to teach you all you need to know to get going, and it's actual hands-on training. I'm going to actually help you get up and running and started, okay? All right, and it's going to culminate in your very own webinar. All right? Now, the thing about this is I'm not just letting you sign up and just, pay the fee and off we go. I've been around the block, been doing this for 20 years, and frankly, some people are just hard to work with. And I don't need the headaches. All right, I'm wanting to teach people that are eager to learn, that want to put in the effort, and that I believe that they will do the work and achieve the results. All right, so I'm going to send you this link. So you don't have to do anything. Don't try to copy that down. I'm going to paste it in. But here are the bonus offers, which I can't think of any better bonus offers. All right, this is going to blow you away. I'm going to help run your first webinar. All right, if you want to get in on this, you want to do your first webinar. Either it could be just on retirement planning, and we go through some retirement view scenarios. That's a simple way to do it. But I'm going to help you run it, set it up, configure it, be the panelist. I can help you do all of that. It could be on your own seminar. It could be on your own topic. I'm fine with that, but I can still be on there as, CEO of Torrid Technologies and be another expert holding your hand and helping make sure the first one's successful. So part is helping run it. You got to set it up, configure the registration so that people can sign up, and then you need help running it, recording it, and all that. Then the second button is more what I was just alluding to. I can be the actual speaker on there if you want, or I could just help you run it. But I could be the guest speaker. I'm offering to do that. It can be on retirement. It can be on Retirement View. I'm also an expert on numerous planning topics like required minimum distributions, 72T calculations, Roth conversions, stretch IRA illustrations, all different types of financial planning that I've been associated with. Here's your third bonus. My tech guys are going to help you convert your video to the proper formats and even upload it for you, so you're not going to have to do anything. All right? And you're going to walk away with your first webinar recorded and posted online that you can use in your marketing. And we'll talk about where we'll post it. We'll put it in YouTube if you want. We can just upload it to your website and show you how to share the links. There's Amazon video services and other services, so we'll go through that and decide where you want to put it. And then the last bonus, you're going to walk away with either a master audio CD or a full video master DVD containing the webinar. And you can take that to any house that reproduces these things, and they do it for cheap, and I can refer you to the one that we use. There's a number of them out there. So to be able to mail someone this CD or DVD with a letter, maybe they're a prospect, maybe they're a business owner, you want to get your foot in the door. Maybe there's a referral. Someone gives you a referral. Before you even meet with them, send them the mail package and get yourself positioned as an expert. Even if they never listen to the thing or view the DVD, just the fact that you sent it and it has a title and it positions you on there makes you an expert, even if they never look at it. I'm telling you, it's very, very valuable. All right, so I can't think of any other bonuses that could make this any more successful. Pretty much helping you do a turnkey webinar. I'm going to help you do it all. Okay, so let's talk about how much this is going to cost. You're going to get the actual hands-on training. We're going to culminate in your own webinar. And here's the cost. It's $9.97. I'm only going to offer 10 spots, okay? Now the bonus items, it says on here only those that order today. Realistically, I need to know this week. I don't have to know today if you need to think about it. But we are taking applications. There's a lot of people on this webinar. I only have a limited amount of time. And as you see, I'm not just going to run webinars to teach you how to do webinars. I'm actually going to help you do it. And we'll probably have to set up, most of the trainings will be group, but I'm going to have to set up one-on-one time as well to help you through some of these items. Some of it will be done in the group setting. All right, so I'm going to escape out of the slideshow view, and I'm going to put this into the, there's the hyperlink. Okay, what I'm asking you to do is apply. Okay, you're going to fill out the application form. After you fill out the application form, there's a number of questions that I'm asking, trying to gauge whether this is suitable for you, because I don't want you to sign up if it's not for you. I want it to be successful, okay? And if I don't feel the fit is right, and everyone on here is a client, so I know you. We have notes in our database. I know most of the people in our database. And so I'm going to look for you to apply. All I'm asking is after you apply, the next page asks for a deposit, a $100 deposit. I'm not even asking for the full amount right now. I'm asking for a deposit to show me that you're serious, and that'll allow me to look at the applications and decide who I'm going to let into this program. Okay? If you are not accepted, I will refund your money. This is not a scheme to get $100 deposits. Okay? If you are not selected, you do not pay 1 penny. If you apply today, it will charge your card $100. That just makes it known that you're serious, and over the next couple of days I'm going to review these applications and select who I'm letting in. If you are not selected, I will refund your deposit. If you are selected, then we will start the training next week. All of the trainings will be recorded. We will also schedule one-on-one time so that I can work with you to get your topic formatted, and I'll even review your presentation if it's more of a PowerPoint presentation. And so that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I got a couple of people already putting in here that they want to sign up. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate that. I still have to have you fill out the application, though, Terry, so go there. If you look in the chat box, that is a clickable link. You can click on that link, and it will send you the link, okay? So click on that, fill it out. It'll probably take you about 10 minutes. Pay particularly close to the last question, where I'm asking you why you think this is the fit for you. It's more of a free-form question. So fill that out. You're not graded for spelling. This is not a spelling test, not a writing test. I just want you to tell me why you think this will work for you, what you have to offer, and why you want to be in the program, basically. And I'll go through those and just make sure that there's a good fit. So does anyone have any questions? Okay, don't forget the bonus items. Seriously, I'm going to help you run your first webinar. I can even be the guest speaker. You can tell them I'm CEO of Torrid Technologies. That's fine. You can tell them I'm an expert on retirement. We'll work all that out. I could just be the guy that runs it, and you're the expert giving your topic. But hey, here's Tim Turner, and I just use it to filter the questions and ask you, and it just makes you look great, and it positions you as the expert on the CD and the DVDs. We can do it that way as well. It's all up to you. But the most important thing is you're going to walk away with that webinar. It's going to be recorded. It will be online, and you'll have your own either audio CD or DVD. So I talked to a number of people about this, and they thought this was a very awesome thing to offer that would get people jazzed up. So if you want to do it, there's the sign-up form. Just click on that, fill it out. And it doesn't look like we have any questions, so I guess I was pretty good at explaining it. But I want you to seriously consider this. It's something you can do over and over in your business, and any hassles with compliance are going to far be minimized by the value you're going to get of running these things, monthly webinars, recording them, replaying them, remarketing them, integrating them into your marketing, positioning you as an expert. It's just incredible what it does. And I've seen it work over and over, and it doesn't cost anything near what it costs seminars, okay? And so give it some serious thought, and if you want to apply, then apply. And hope to see you on the group. Any questions before I end? Okay, it doesn't look like I have any questions, so I'm going to end this up. I'm not going to email the link because I'm not giving out this link to anyone who is not on this call. So normally I would send it out to everyone signed up for the turbocharge calls, but I'm not doing that today. Only the people that were serious enough to get on here have a chance to apply and get in this group. So I hope you apply, and hope you have an interest. If not, it's not a big deal. I totally understand. And I hope you're getting a lot of value out of the Retirement View program, and we'll talk to you next week. We'll have another turbocharge call next Wednesday at 3, and we'll talk to you then. Have a great day, and I'm wishing you a lot of success this year in 2014. Talk to you soon. It's Tim Turner signing off. See ya.